The Ornament by Andy Rutrough. Frank Gladstone lifted the blue-green mirrored ornament toward its pride of place just below the star on the upper two-thirds of the Christmas tree. He had done this every Christmas Eve for 20 years, as his father had done for 30 before that. Frank loved the feel of the smooth glass in his hands, somehow always warm. He loved the familiar weight of it, a little heavier than it looked like it should be. He set the orb's hook over a nice straight branch near the yellow, orange, green, blue, and red lights that circled the Christmas tree. Then, with a slight step back, he released the ball to hang in its own special place. Except it did not hang. Somehow he had hooked it over needles, not the branch itself. "No!" he cried as it plummeted toward the hardwood floor below. In an adrenaline of motion, he shot his left hand down to catch it, but it skipped off his pinky finger. "No!" he cried again, as it shattered on the planks beneath. Frank stared in disbelief. 2 generations of Christmases, maybe 3, lay in shards before him. Frank had lifted his son, Frank Jr., and then his grandson, Johnny, up high enough to touch the ornament with their 4-year-old hands each Christmas afternoon. He had held them up to see themselves in the curved glass and to feel its smoothness. Later on, even after he enlisted in the army, Johnny still reached up to touch the orb himself each Christmas, all the way up till a year ago last June, when he shipped out for Afghanistan and stayed deployed over Christmas. Now the ornament lay in a spray of scattered spikes like a sunburst, with a few subtle pieces underneath. Mostly silver from the inside of the ornament, and some blue-green from the outside. All the shards reflected Frank's own face and the room behind him, each in strange, convoluted ways. "Honey!" His voice wavered. Janie Gladstone rushed in from the kitchen. "What?" Her wide eyes scanned the pattern of mirror shards on the floor. "Oh, Frank, I'm sorry." She sighed, sat down. "I thought you had fallen." "No, just the old ornament." He turned to get a dustbin. "Johnny's going to be disappointed when he doesn't see it." Frank's hand shook as he picked up the broom. Johnny's transport vehicle had taken a blast from a roadside bomb last September. He had been at Walter Reed in rehab ever since. This would be his first Christmas home. "Frank, I'm sorry," Janie said, "but Johnny's going to want to see us, his family, not just some old ornament. It's family that will make him better." "Yeah, I suppose," Frank muttered. But he remembered what Johnny had said on the phone to him a week ago. "I want to have Christmas afternoon at your house, Grandpa, like we always do." "Sure, Johnny, of course," Frank had said. "And I want to touch the ornament, like I always do." "Sure," Frank had said. Now Frank sat down, broom in one hand, dustbin in the other. Once, when Johnny was 8, he had looked up from plowing the living room floor with his toy John Deere tractor and had waved at his own reflection in the ornament's blue-green glass. Frank had glimpsed that reflection. It had looked exactly like Johnny's father, Frank Jr., when he was 8 years old, and also exactly like another boy, 8 years old again, who, for some reason, Frank thought must be Johnny's son someday. Christmas had been like that, as if something in the room made time go strange. Frank stood up to sweep the broken glass. "Not any more," he muttered, then stopped. The pattern of sharp silver glass from inside the ornament captured his mind. No one had seen that silver, ever, not since the ornament was made, not even then. And the blue-green outside also formed that starburst pattern, with a rough line of shards beneath it that reminded him of something. What? He looked again, at the 100 faces of himself reflecting upward. He felt a breeze on his cheek. What was he missing? Frank dozed off in his easy chair that night, in the dark by the lit-up Christmas tree. He half dreamed about a picture he had seen once of a tomb in Central Asia, 4,000 years old, broken pot in the middle, starburst pattern above, with a line of shards beneath. He dreamed about a film he had seen 10 years later. Archaeologists had dug up a Choctaw village in 17th century central Mississippi. Another pot. Same pattern. "They're the same," he muttered. The shards in Asia and Mississippi and his own living room had all arranged themselves in exactly the same pattern. Why are they the same? He wondered. Do you understand yet? A voice asked from the Christmas tree. Frank squinted. The colored echoes of the tree lights melded into a shadowy human figure about the height of Frank's finger, wearing leather pants and shirt and grinning at him from the twilight just inside the outer branches. You've almost got it. A quiet laugh leaked out from the dark behind the figure. Frank stared, too groggy to be scared or amazed. The figure was simply there, as if a giggle had become a living being and now stood light as a feather on a twig of the Christmas tree. You're an elf, Frank said without thinking. Ha! Some call us that. But do you see it? The ornament, Frank mumbled, remembering the shattered glass. That's right, the voice said. The image of little Johnny waving at his father through the blue-green mirrored glass emerged in Frank's mind. Do you see what it is? The voice asked. Frank noticed that the elf cradled a tiny toddler child in his left arm. It's not just an ornament. That's right, the voice bubbled with laughter. What is it? Come on, what? Frank remembered one time he had seen a clutch of turtle eggs in Florida on the beach. A group of volunteers had dug them up and moved them above the tide line so they didn't drown. Whole buckets full of perfectly round, ping-pong-shaped eggs. The truth bloomed in his mind. It's an egg! Oh, right in one. You are so beautiful. Frank felt the tiniest pinch on his cheek. You want to hear more? Frank nodded, feeling a gap, a hole open up inside his chest. You humans call us many things. Christmas elves, sugar plum fairies, the conductor on the Polar Express. We are like amphibians. We return to the arc of time to lay our eggs, just as amphibians return to water. We lay them in good homes, good nests, where love can hold the egg's warmth closely, particularly at special times like Christmas. We watch over them for 40, maybe 50 years until they hatch, each lineage in its own same pattern. Then we take our young and leave. That's why I dropped the ornament, so it could hatch? Frank felt the hole in his chest growing, reaching up toward his throat. You didn't drop it. It slipped from your hand. It was time to hatch. But of all the thousands of eggs we have left over all the thousands of years, so few have suspected what we are. Frank sensed several half-shadows peeking out from the tree and giggling. The hole in Frank's chest touched his mind. He realized he wanted something badly. The want became a pit, and then a chasm. He needed something desperately. What was it? He notices. A face looked at him sideways. Something holds him to us. Another face emerged. It's a touch. A touch holds him. And another, a memory. And yet another, a love. Yes, that's how they see these humans. When they finally do see, they see through love. The hole in Frank's chest burst into speech. I want a Christmas present, he blurted. I want a Christmas present for my grandson. He sobbed. He got hurt badly in Afghanistan. Can you make him better? The figures went dark. Grief weighed down in Frank's chest. No. He will get better, mostly. But it will take time. Can you end the war then? Even deeper grief. No. Only humans can do that. Frank sat for a long moment. Can you make him happy at Christmas? The figures in the tree went quiet. For what seemed a long time, the shadows moved and shifted and whispered. At last they spoke. We can. There was a pause. Then one shadow stepped into the light. It was a woman in a white chiffon gown with a wreath of candles in her hair. Here. She slipped a fragile orb into his hand. This might help. The still air of a snowy wood touched his breathing as she spoke. Frank relaxed. It was the old ornament again, or else a new one like it. He could feel its presence. Frank, it's time for bed. Jenny stood over him in her nightgown. The Christmas tree lights were off, the living room lights on. You don't want to sleep out here all night, do you? No, I guess not. He looked around. What had he dreamed? He did not remember. Jenny glanced down at his hand. "I thought you broke that this afternoon." He looked at the mirrored glass blue-green ball he was holding. "No, that was a different ornament. Here, I'll put this on the tree." Fred lay awake in bed for a long time. Johnny would come tomorrow. They would play some Christmas carols on the stereo, have dinner. Johnny would touch the ornament like he always did. What was that about? Frank thought. Maybe the reflection. It made everything look wonderful, both young and old at the same time, or else eternal, going on and on forever till the stars burned out, or else perhaps without any time at all, without before or after, centuries or seconds, just being. It would make Johnny smile. In the back of Frank's mind, he heard a giggle from the Christmas tree.